Hello, nonprofit leaders. I'm Sarah Olivieri, your host, and this podcast is here to assist people like you, executive directors, board members, and other nonprofit leaders make a bigger impact with insights, tips, and lessons learned from nonprofit leaders and experts. Having been an executive director, a board member, and now a consultant and coach, I truly understand the challenges you face. And that's why I'm here. I'm all about working smarter, not harder, so you can make a bigger impact without the burnout. And so is our sponsor, DonorBox. DonorBox isn't just a suite of helpful fundraising tools, it's a partner that helps you raise more money and supports you in retaining your donors. I love their forward-thinking approach. Visit donorbox.org to learn more. And don't forget to sign up for the Inspired Nonprofit Leadership newsletter, where you'll get bite-sized, actionable tips just for nonprofit leaders like you, delivered weekly to your inbox. Sign up at inspirednonprofitleadership.com/sign up. Okay, let's dive into today's episode.
Today, we're talking about your funders' expectations. And I've been hearing for a long time and recently working with one client in particular around fundraising. Actually, a bunch of clients have had this question. Our donors don't want to fund general operating costs, right? You've probably heard that. Donors don't want to fund general operating. General operating is the hardest to fund. And of course, if you say, oh, will you just fund my salary? That's not very exciting, right? However, I think that if we truly have donor resistance to unrestricted general funding for your organization, chances are it's because they've just kind of heard out in the ether things like this much of your donation goes directly to programming, or you have inadvertently given your funders the wrong expectation. So the real trick here in getting unrestricted funding, because it isn't really about funding operating expenses or what they used to call overhead. I like to say operating because it sounds like you have to have it in order to operate. And it isn't about funding programs. It's about funding your mission. It's about funding your cause. And great donors, and really the majority of your donors, even if they aren't great yet, they're most likely there because they want you to achieve your mission. They care about the cause that your nonprofit is working on. They want to be a part of creating the solution. So, what does this mean? This means that when we go to them, we need to be prepared to share a story around how our organization is achieving the mission or planning to achieve the mission, how our organization is addressing the cause. So if our cause is kindness and love towards animals and animal rescue, and our mission, like one big shout out to One Health, where their mission is, I'm not going to get it verbatim, but they help low-income pet owners keep their pet by helping to support the expense of medical care coverage for their pets so that their pets don't end up in shelters, and it's a win-win for the pet owner and for the pets, right? So your donors, if you are One Health, they want to hear that you have programs, right? They're going to want to hear about those programs, right? So One Health has a voucher program where they give vouchers that can be used at various veterinary offices for care. Your donors want to hear that you have the program. They're going to want to hear details about the impact or your dream of a program you don't have yet, because that makes it tangible. That makes them be able to say themselves how they helped achieve the cause. But your donors aren't really there for that one program. And if they really are only there for that one program, then they're not really a great fit donor because they don't really care about your mission, right? Which is like a donor who comes through like a Facebook birthday fundraiser, right? They care about their friend whose birthday it was. Maybe they also care about your mission, maybe not, right? That's for you to figure out after they come in as a donor that way. So much of understanding funders' expectations is to let go of the assumption that they don't want to invest in your nonprofit as a whole. That let go of the assumption, right? If I say let go of the assumption that they don't want to invest in your mission, that probably been like, well, I don't have that assumption, right? But if you've been thinking they only want to invest in a specific program, that is another way of saying that they only care about the activities of this program and they don't care about our entire mission. So I want you to assume that your donors care about your entire mission. And I want you to communicate with them and set their expectations so that they know that you are a trustworthy organization who is going to spend that money in the way that is most impactful for your mission. And some of it may be on supplies for a program. Some of it might be on staff development. Some of it might be on research to figure out which programs are working the best. Some of it might be on running experiments to see if you can figure out new ways of doing things. Give your donors examples of the things that you are doing and the things that you would like to be doing so they have something emotional to sink their teeth in. But don't go around assuming that they don't care about your cause, that they don't care about your mission, and have these mission level conversations. Use the programs as an example. Use the impact as an example. Or if it's not right, people also go often like, well, I'm not making an impact yet, right? Because I'm new or we're just starting this program. People care about investing in the future too. They do it all the time, right? So share with them what you think that future is going to look like when you have launched your new program or as a result of trying an experiment that you'd like to try. Sell them on the possibility and the opportunity if that's what you are focused on. And it can be the whole picture. Here's what we're doing now. Here's what we could be doing, right? When we accomplish X, Y, and Z with your help. And I love the work of Sherry Kwam Taylor. Big shout out to Sherry. She often uses the phrase investment level conversations. And I think that it applies just as much to the size of the donation as this concept that all of your donors, whether it's $2 or $2 million, if we speak to them as though they truly care about investing in our missions, investing in the impact we can do or could make, we will set the expectation that we are all in it to achieve the mission, which means sometimes we're going to stay the same, sometimes we're going to change. And that is how we can set expectations that align with our true activities. And I just want to say it again because it is really, simple. Simple isn't always easy, but it is simple as just reminding yourself, my donors want to invest in my cause, in our mission, and everything that goes into achieving that mission. Of course, they want to invest in that. Now, maybe you get one who's come in and they've heard other nonprofits kind of advertising like 100% of your donation goes to our programming. Be prepared to have a conversation with them to just kind of unpack that a little. Say, hey, like to make an impact, we need programs. We need to collect data. We need to make sure. You could say, like, you wouldn't want to invest in a program that wasn't run well. You wouldn't want to invest in a program where we didn't have evidence that it wasn't, we didn't have evidence that it wasn't like the best version it could be. You wouldn't want to just keep investing in an outdated model when we could be investing in figuring out a new way of solving this problem. You wouldn't want to invest in a program where the staff kept leaving because they didn't have benefits or adequate pay or development, right? It only takes a few sentences typically to dispel this myth that donors have come in with. And they just come in, they have not thought it through. And through a short conversation, typically, you can bring them from thinking that the best way to make an impact is by money going directly to a program to the best way to make an impact is to give an unrestricted gift that is spent potentially on all of these areas that I've just been talking about. That's what I have for you today. Let me know if this makes sense to you because it's such a mindset thing. And I'm hoping to give you enough examples to see it just a little differently because that's going to change the way you think about it. That's going to change the way you talk about it. And as a result, that's going to dramatically change the way you take action and the results you get in your fundraising. Until next time, all the best.
You've been listening to Inspired Nonprofit Leadership. Thanks so much for tuning in. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss a single episode or the bonus episodes. And while you're at it, please leave a rating and review and be sure to share with your friends and colleagues. Tune in every week for more useful insights and wisdom on nonprofit leadership. Thanks so much for all you do for the communities you serve. Until next time, all the best.